The year 2025 marked a pivotal moment for South Korea on the global stage. In Gyeongju, leaders from the Asia-Pacific region convened for the APEC summit, a test for South Korea and its president, Lee Jae-myung. The world watched as Seoul attempted to bridge the gap between the U.S. and China, two powers in a tense relationship. The summit's success would demonstrate South Korea's role as a mediator, capable of fostering dialogue amidst global uncertainty. President Lee aimed to showcase South Korea as a key player, not just a follower, in shaping regional futures. The event highlighted South Korea's organizational prowess and ambition, with the first-ever APEC CEO summit drawing over 1,700 business leaders. This signaled South Korea's commitment to economic partnership as a diplomatic tool. The Gyeongju Declaration, focusing on economic cooperation and regional peace, was a diplomatic victory for South Korea. It validated South Korea's foreign policy approach, enhancing its reputation amidst great power competition. The summit underscored that even in a divided world, dialogue and diplomacy could yield positive outcomes. For South Korea, it was a moment of pride and a testament to its strategic vision. The APEC summit in Gyeongju was a stage for global leaders, each with distinct agendas. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung, known for his pragmatic approach, aimed to protect national interests by maintaining balanced relations. His leadership shone as he navigated complex discussions, ensuring all voices were heard. U.S. President Donald Trump, in his second term, was a critical presence, given the U.S.'s role as South Korea's key security ally. His meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping was the summit's highlight, with hopes of easing trade tensions. For South Korea, a positive outcome was crucial for economic stability. President Xi's visit, his first in 11 years, was a diplomatic win for President Lee, emphasizing China's economic ties. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's presence added to the geopolitical dynamics, with her government aligning closely with the U.S. The summit was a high-stakes drama, showcasing South Korea's diplomatic finesse. South Korea's geography places it in a challenging position, bordered by North Korea and flanked by China and Japan. This location shapes its history and modern challenges, requiring a delicate foreign policy balance. North Korea remains the primary security concern, countered by a strong U.S. military alliance. American troops in South Korea deter potential northern aggression, forming the backbone of its defense strategy. However, this alliance often strains relations with China, which views U.S. military presence as a threat. Economically, South Korea is deeply tied to China, its largest trading partner. Major Korean companies rely on the Chinese market and supply chains, making economic stability crucial. This dependence gives China leverage, necessitating careful diplomacy from South Korean leaders. They must balance security ties with the U.S. and economic partnerships with China, a constant diplomatic challenge. South Korea is often likened to a shrimp among whales, navigating powerful neighbors with skill. Its diplomacy requires vigilance and adept navigation to avoid being overwhelmed by competing interests. The nation's survival hinges on its ability to manage these complex relationships. South Korea's greatest fear is being forced to choose between the U.S. and China, a real danger influencing its foreign policy. A conflict between Washington and Beijing could trap South Korea in a precarious position. Aligning fully with the U.S. risks severe economic retaliation from China, threatening South Korea's economy. Conversely, abandoning the U.S. alliance would expose South Korea to North Korean threats. The public's strong affinity for the U.S. and wariness of China complicate any shift in alliances. South Korea often adopts a strategic gray area, participating in U.S. initiatives without overtly opposing China. This ambiguity is a survival tactic, maintaining security ties while preserving economic partnerships. The U.S. seeks stronger alignment, while China warns against closeness to the American camp. South Korean leaders must reassure Washington of their commitment, while signaling to Beijing their non-hostility. This tightrope walk requires immense diplomatic skill, balancing competing demands with no safety net. It is a pragmatic approach to navigate the complex geopolitical landscape. South Korea's strategy of careful neutrality is key to managing U.S.-China tensions. President Lee Jae-myung exemplifies this approach, particularly on sensitive issues like Taiwan. By avoiding strong public commitments, South Korea maintains maneuverability and avoids provoking China. This stance stabilizes relations with China, allowing for positive engagement, such as President Xi's APEC visit. South Korea's strategy is not about abandoning the U.S. alliance, but defining its limits. The alliance remains strong, with cooperation in security and economic areas. On issues China views as sovereignty challenges, Seoul remains quiet, signaling its non-aggressive stance. This policy of strategic ambiguity requires constant communication to prevent misinterpretation. South Korea must prove its loyalty to the U.S. while being a reliable economic partner to China. It is a pragmatic choice, avoiding catastrophic consequences of taking a loud side. A quieter, flexible approach is seen as the safest path forward. South Korea's strategy maximizes benefits from both the U.S. and China. From the U.S., South Korea gains security through the U.S.-ROK Mutual Defense Treaty. American troops symbolize this commitment, allowing South Korea to focus on economic development. The U.S. relationship also provides economic and technological strength, with major trade deals and tech cooperation. From China, South Korea gains immense economic benefits as its largest trading partner. The Chinese market is essential for Korean exports, driving prosperity. A good relationship with Beijing ensures smoother trade and investment opportunities. China also plays a role in managing the North Korean threat, having influence over Pyongyang. By balancing ties, South Korea aims for American security and Chinese economic opportunity. This strategy ensures regional stability and prosperity for the Korean people. It is a delicate balance, requiring skillful diplomacy and strategic foresight. Comparing South Korea's strategy with Japan's reveals different approaches to U.S.-China rivalry. Japan aligns closely with the U.S. on security issues, particularly regarding Taiwan. This alignment strengthens the U.S.-Japan alliance but strains relations with China. In contrast, South Korea avoids strong public alignment, maintaining a cautious stance. This divergence highlights different geopolitical calculations in Seoul and Tokyo. Japan, as an island nation, feels more strategic space to oppose China. South Korea, facing immediate threats, opts for caution to avoid provoking neighbors. The U.S. prefers a united front, but understands South Korea's unique pressures. President Lee's strategy is pragmatic, tailored to South Korea's circumstances. Both approaches reflect different adaptations to great power competition. President Lee Jae-myung's diplomacy is rooted in pragmatism, focusing on national interests. His flexible foreign policy avoids conflicts unrelated to South Korea's survival. On Taiwan, he reassures Beijing, improving economic ties and dialogue. He strengthens the U.S. alliance in areas benefiting South Korea, like trade and technology. This pragmatic approach balances national security, economic interests, and domestic politics. President Lee steers public opinion towards a balanced view, maintaining diplomatic options. Hosting President Xi and securing APEC benefits demonstrate the value of China relations. His strategy is a balancing act between nations and internal factors. It is a testament to his diplomatic skill and strategic vision. South Korea's future hinges on its ability to maintain its delicate balancing act. The U.S.-China competition will persist, increasing pressure on middle powers like South Korea. To succeed, South Korea must strengthen its capabilities, investing in self-reliant defense and technology. The APEC AI initiative shows South Korea's role as a tech diplomacy leader. Diplomacy remains crucial, requiring skilled communication with both Washington and Beijing. Multilateral forums like APEC and G20 offer platforms for coalition building with other middle powers. South Korea aims to shape a future where the U.S. and China coexist peacefully. By acting as a pragmatic bridge, South Korea serves regional peace and its own interests. The 2025 APEC summit's success showed this is possible. The challenge is sustaining this strategy amidst growing pressures. South Korea's future depends on its ability to walk this tightrope with skill and purpose.